gosh. Howdy. We got another fucking banger for him. We got another fucking banger for him. Howdy. My God. Howdy. Let me just make sure this thing's on. Whoa. This light's a little bit bright. Hold on. There we go. What is up, my lads? Today, we have a banger, okay? We're going to be doing a Walking Dead fucking review, but it's only going to be a review. Let me, kind of grab you here a little bit. It's only... Okay, hold on. Pause. Pause right here. It's Caden. How are you? This is completely after the fact. Great video, by the way. Certainly should watch it. Turned out good. There are definitely spoilers in this shit. If you don't watch spoilers, if you're fucking a decade behind like I am, don't watch this video. Although I wish I could have you as a viewer. And definitely tune into the gaming streams. K9 Plays with 1Z. Okay, here in Twitch. Anyways, there are spoilers in this bitch, so if you're watching this show for the first time like I am a decade later, get off this motherfucker. Alright, enjoy. Going to be a review from characters that are from seasons 1 through 4. Only the main characters, okay? It's going to be an A through F tier list, okay? So I'll see you on there. Ka-chow. We are here. The time has finally fucking come, okay, for the Walking Dead tier list only. Now keep in mind, for what I just said, again, this is a tier list for characters only from 1 through 4, okay? Now, in this video, it's going to be a review. It's going to be an A through F, right? Okay? Let me break it down for you. F is for fucking dumb. Okay? Like, dumb as fuck. Like, fucking idiots. Okay? Then D is just dumb, right? Like, they still make bad decisions. And if they were in my group, they really would get the boot. Wouldn't put up with them in Zombieland. C is for cool enough, okay? They're cool enough to get the job done, like, if you need them there, like, they're a body. B is for badass. B is for, like, they're topper, they're on the higher of the food chain, okay? I'm gonna give them some more supplies, okay? They can have more than just fucking beans and fucking bread. And then A is for alpha. A is my leaders, okay? A is who I'm going into the fucking dungeon with, okay? That's it. A through F, man. It's pretty fucking simple. Okay? Again, main characters, 1 through 4. Characters that I thought were good enough, that made enough of an impact on the show to be involved. Okay? I'm kind of going to see if I roll through this order. We'll see how I like it. I'm not really... this wasn't really, set up with, intent, thinking that it was going to be the way to go. So, we'll just see if we can roll with it. Alright, so... starting off with fucking Abraham, dude. Abraham, I think, is one of those guys that 1 through 4 really is not his brightest fucking time to shine, okay? It really hasn't done much for the group, okay? He's a big, strong guy. He's a body. But is he good enough to where he's on my group? For me personally, because he really hasn't done anything at all for the show, from 1 through 4, he's just like a big guy. You know where he's going? He's going right here. Okay, I don't think he's, fucking F level, but he's not C level. He's going right to D. Right to fucking D. That's the first character, okay? He's going right to D. He's just not... He wouldn't be in my group because in Season 4, he really hasn't done anything, and that's kind of when we're introduced to him. He's kind of just like a big fucking idiot, so... in my group, he's not all that worthy, okay? Coming up next, I think this is a good spot so far, Andrea, right? I think Andrea, for wanting to kill herself and for all of her dumb fucking decisions she's made, Andrea's pretty quick with me in this group, from almost killing Daryl with the fucking gun to wanting to have an impact but really can't because she's just not... She doesn't have enough courage. She doesn't have enough strength. And her character's also pretty fucking stupid, too. For those reasons alone, and for wanting to kill herself when we first are introduced to Jenner, for those reasons, she is the first fucking F. Okay, Andrea is a flat out F. Andrea is fucking dumb. Andrea is zombie bait. Okay, that's what the F is, dude. The F is zombie bait. Okay, if you go into the F category, you are a fucking bot. Okay. All right, coming up next. This is actually one of those ones where it's like, at first, she's like kind of an idiot. We got Beth, right? Oh, whoopsies. Hold on one second. We're going to have a lot of those tonight, so just bear with me. We have Beth, right? Beth, you know, like for what Beth has done as far as improving morale, as far as surviving in the hospital, as far as just like getting by, she's pretty solid. Okay. To be honest with you, I don't really remember because I'm a little bit past season 4, so I don't really remember if her getting out of the hospital is after season 4. But from her like relationship that she's kind of built a little bit with Daryl and like boosting his morale while also not really making any too many stupid decisions. Right? Like she's kind of losing herself a little bit in the show, especially at the fucking farmhouse. She's like completely dumb. She's like completely just like losing it. For those reasons alone, like for her to be able to help Daryl the way she has, she's good enough to be our first fucking C, dude. Beth is above Andrea for sure and better than Abraham. Abraham's a fuck. Coming up next with Bob, dude. Bob is a fuck. Bob is probably one of the top fucks. I'm actually going to slot Andrea a little bit back so Bob can go there. Bob's going right to F. There's really not much explanation that needs to be made. Bob survives the prison somehow. Bob gets to leave with the gang somehow. Bob is a fucker, dude. Bob has not contributed anything medically. He's somehow a doctor. That origin story alone makes no fucking sense because Bob is an idiot. Bob doesn't contribute anything to the team. Bob's trying to get at Sasha, like most of the time when they're at the prison, and is failing, fucking failing. No support. Bob is an idiot. Bob is a waste of resources. I would have fed Bob to the zombies a long ass time ago. Bob is bottom of the barrel F, dude. Bottom of the fucking barrel F. Bob is a moron. Okay. Bob is a grade A moron. Coming up with Caleb. I actually have a soft spot for Caleb. I think Caleb's good as a doctor. Obviously, he dies, but he dies valiantly. He dies helping Hershel. He dies with medical like providings. Like he's trying to help Hershel in healing the group. He has good insight. He had good weapons, so he kind of saved Hershel in a way. When Hershel is going up like to Glenn to try and help Glenn get the fucking respirator. But Caleb is not good enough to be a B, but he's not dumb enough to be a D. Caleb is going into the C category, and he's going to go down the list because he's not really a top tier C, but he is still a C. I'm going to fix this because I have design issues for sure. Caleb is a C. Okay. Coming up next, we have Ed. Ed is a fuck. Ed is probably the biggest asshole in the entire show. More than Shane, more than the fucking governor. I would argue that Ed is one of the first villains in the show. I think Ed is disgusting. I think if you have an Ed in your life, you should get rid of him. Put him in prison. Ed is top tier F. Not as... yeah, Ed's going behind Bob. Ed is a fuck. Ed is the worst F in the whole show. Ed doesn't contribute anything. Gets his ass whooped by fucking Rick. Deservedly... Oh, wait, no. By Shane. Shane whoops his ass at the river. Deservingly whoops his ass. Hold on one second. Uno momento, please. Uno momento. Okay. So, coming up next is Carol. Okay, I fucking love Carol. I'm all for Carol. I actually need to see where I slotted Carol just to kind of give myself a little reminder here. Carol 1 through 4 really does help a little bit as far as like being there for Daryl, helping out Daryl when he needs it. She's kind of like the hope in the group. Yeah, Carol is the shit. This is Carol, for those of you who don't know who Carol is. Watch more of the show because she becomes badass. Right now I'm on season 6. She becomes very fucking cool. But for just season 4 alone, she's cool enough to have around. I actually think she's going to be better than Beth. I like Carol a lot. Yeah, for her helping out Daryl, for her wanting to be a part of the farmhouse, for her wanting to be a part of the prison, she's a fucking C. Okay, Carol is cool enough to have around. Carol's not a B. Carol is still a little bit of a bot. In 1 through 4, she really doesn't show how much of a badass she is. We haven't really seen that side of her in 1 through 4. So for those reasons alone, she's a fucking C. Okay, here we have the 2 kids. We're going to do these kids first. Now, these aren't the first kids in the show, but they are certainly an impactful. They are impactful, right? They're the reason why Carol has like drive, why Tyrese fights for things, right? But I would say Mika. So this is the daughter combo. I forget whose kids they were, but Carol kind of took them on in the prison with Tyrese a little bit, in like an oath to protect them. And then when everybody escapes the prison, it's those two, Carol and Tyrese, end up connecting somehow. They don't have any impact past C. I mean, I'm gonna put Mika. Mika has like a little. So this is Mika, by the way. I would say Mika has like a little taste of courage in season 4. I believe it's like in the middle. It's after they leave the prison, so it's like actually kind of towards the end of season 4. But Mika's a fucking D. Mika doesn't really do anything for the group other than make Carol want to live more, I guess. But she is better than her sister. Her sister is a dumb cunt. Lizzie is probably the biggest fucking idiot of one of the biggest idiots of the show. Lizzie is fucking dumb. Lizzie is hopefully dumb. Right? She lives in like a state of blissful ignorance where she thinks like every zombie is good. I mean, I'm gonna definitely base this like with massive spoilers because like that's like all that this review. I mean, the show's been out for fucking God knows how long, but still, I mean, Lizzie kills her sister in that she can prove to Carol and Tyrese that she like will become back to be a zombie and that she can rise from the dead. But make no mistake, Lizzie is a fucking idiot. Lizzie like deservedly dies from Carol. Once she told Carol what she was gonna do and she was gonna threaten, I forget the daughter's name. She has a stupid name too. But once she threatens the baby with killing it to bring it back from the dead, that's when Carol knows Lizzie needs to die. Lizzie's a fucking bot. Lizzie is worse than Bob, but not as bad as Ed. We're going to drag these 2 idiots down a little bit so we can slot in Lizzie's dumbass. Because Lizzie is a huge fucking F. Lizzie's probably like one of the best Fs in the show. I mean, what she does is just like outlandish and like it's astonishing. When she does it too, they reveal it. It's like it's fucking insane. I think she like stabs Mika too. Lori. Lori is Lori's like up there with Mika. Or up there with Lizzie. Lori's a fucking moron, dude. Lori doesn't contribute anything to the show. She starts sleeping with Shane, but doesn't want to like totally get rid of him. Then goes back, then obviously gets back with Rick, and then gets pregnant. The pregnancy alone is like really what pisses me off. Like, think about this shit, right? Like in Zombieland, right? Like, why the fuck is anybody banging? Like, nobody should be banging. At risk of pregnancy, nobody should be banging. Nobody should be banging. Like, this is insane work. When she gets pregnant, that's when Rick gets worse, Carl gets worse. Like, she obviously never had any sort of potential. Lori's a fucking asshat. Lori's not as bad as Bob, but also not better than fucking Andrea's dumbass. So I'm putting Lori right behind Andrea. Lori is a huge failure. Okay, Mitch. You know, for Mitch being a villain and being the governor's side piece, he's actually got a lot of convictions. I wouldn't have him on my team, so that's why he's a D, but he's not a failure. Like, for what the governor's trying to do, to have this dude by your side when he's more loyal to the other candidates and like leading this new group that the governor's part of. Mitch is a D. Mitch is dumb, but he's not like the worst fucking guy to have on your team. As far as impact for the show, he does have a decent impact. Like I said, he does back up the governor. Milton. So we have our two scientists right here. Okay. I'm gonna say Milton. Milton's pretty fucking cool because he doesn't like the direction the governor's heading. He thinks that the governor, for wanting to kill Rick and Rick's gang so bad, that the governor doesn't, or that Milton doesn't fully submit to the governor. He kind of gives Andrea some juice a little bit to kill, or not kill the governor, but to like get a heads up to leave. And the way Milton dies is fucking sad. Like when they're in that room with Milton and Andrea, and the governor stabs him. He either like stabs him or does something. I don't know. Oh yeah, he does stab him. Stabs him, turns him into a zombie. Milton does kill Andrea, by the way, but for Milton's involvement in like trying to help Rick's group, I would put him at a C. I would trust him enough. I'm going to put him after Caleb. I don't think he's as good as Caleb, just because Caleb actually has like a direct impact with the team. But Milton is definitely not a D or an F. I would have Milton on my gang any time of day. I would probably only feed him beans just because he's kind of a fuck. Lemon water, by the way. But yeah, Milton is a good guy, I think, to have on a team, but he's not like out of this world. Eugene, for what we know about Eugene in 1 through 4, if he can truly lead the group, to like a science reason why everybody's a fucking zombie, and he can kind of provide a cure, he would be worthy enough to get there. So, like, worthy enough to get to Washington, because that's where they're trying to go the whole fucking show. I would put him at a C, and I would put him after Milton. If he really does have the hope, like the cure, I would put him after Milton. Sasha tries her best to not suck, but make no mistake, Sasha is a fucking tool bag. Sasha is an idiot. Okay, Sasha has done nothing for the group. Waste of resources. She's just a fucking moron. Her and Tyrese combo when they're first introduced is like garbage stank. Like they like blissfully just like get to the prison and then end up not liking it and end up wanting to go back to the governor. But Sasha is a fuck. Sasha is an F. Sasha is not as bad as these two. But she's as pretty dumb as Bob. She's a fucking idiot. By the way this goes is like this. It's worse to not as bad in F. Same deal here. I'm actually gonna slot him back. I'm gonna slot him back a little bit, and I'm gonna slot in Mika. Oh, hold on. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, I didn't type that in right. There we go. I'm like, why isn't it undoing? Sorry about that. Oh. Jesus. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, now I have a huge soft spot for this next person. That is Sophia. Sophia is goated. The way that they show up. I mean, look at this picture of her. She's such a fucking angel. Sophia's goated. Sophia's untouchable. Sophia's like in a realm of her own. Two reasons why. One is she is like such a delicate angel that like when she leaves, like I actually have to take these off like when I talk about her because like she's just a fucking doll. Like Sophia is so goated that like she's the reason why Herschel and the gang meet, or one of them. Actually, I would kind of take that back. Sophia is just like she gives motivation to the group, but also she was like a good factor for why the group kind of wanted to come back together. And also too, when they show her coming out of the fucking barn in I forget if it's 1 or 2. When they show her, dude, coming out of the barn, first I thought it was Herschel's wife. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was Herschel's wife. It ends up being Sophia, dude, which is Carol's daughter, who is somebody they're looking for the whole fucking show before we know she's dead. And she comes out as a fucking zombie, dude. In the face. Like, it's just fucked, man. It's so fucked. It's so good. Sophia is in a world of her fucking own. Sophia is up there with the best of them. As far as kid, she's the best one in the show. She's an A. She's our first A tier, and she'll probably lead the pack. We'll find that out in a second. But I just had to give a little respect to the doll because Sophia is the shit and the fart. Okay. All right. Cool. Had to have my little emotional moment. All right, back to seriousness. Okay, we're gonna kind of bounce around a little bit. Maggie and Glenn. Maggie. Here's the deal with Maggie, right? Maggie hasn't really done anything for the group, like at all, at all. The only cool thing that she's doing is like getting with Glenn, but like that's not that big of a deal. Like that's not cool. She's not stupid enough to be an F, but she's not anything better than than an F or than a D. She's not good enough to be. She's not good enough to be a C. I wouldn't have Maggie on my squad. She's probably one of the better Ds though. I would probably have her next to Mika. Just because at least like she's contributing to Glenn's happiness, because Glenn's kind of okay. Then that brings us to Glenn's dumbass. Glenn at least has shown his willingness to the group. Glenn's kind of one of the first characters that helps Rick. One of the first. He's not the first, but he's one of the first. But anything outside of that, he hasn't really done anything for the group. Glenn's loyalty and Glenn's conviction is the reason why he's a fucking C. And he's up there with Beth for sure. I would have him on my group, but he'd be fed bread. He's kind of an idiot. Glenn is an idiot. Glenn like doesn't have a good shot. He doesn't speak up. He doesn't stand out, right? When you're in Zombieland, you want a group of people that will stand out. Okay. So this is where we're going to have really one of our bigger characters of the show. I would say Glenn's a big character, but he's not it for me. He's a lot. See, for me, like, he just doesn't provide much more than like his conviction and his loyalty, and he's kind of cute with Maggie. That's literally it. He doesn't get supplies that well. He doesn't stand up for himself. He's shot as fucking garbage. Like, other than that, like, he's just loyal. Alright, that brings us to the first big character in fucking Shane, dude. Shane is badass, right? Shane is slept on. Right? I would give Shane the keys. This is a huge thing. I would give Shane the keys to the program. Okay, I would give Shane the ability to lead my fucking team. Okay. Thus, he's better than a fucking B. Shane is an alpha. Shane only makes good decisions. He makes decisions that will save the group, right? When he says we should stop looking for Sophia because she's already fucking dead, he was right. When he said he beats the shit out of Ed too. Like, that's just aura. Like, A is aura, right? Like, Sophia has a lot of aura. Shane is the first major character, right? Because, like, Sophia's really not a character. She's just like an angel. She's just like hope. Shane is a fucking A, dude. Shane is an alpha. I would have Shane lead my team into the darkness any day of the week. Shane is an A. Okay. Now we kind of get to cruise back in a little bit. Dale's a fucking F. Dale's up there with Dale is definitely a better F than these fucking idiots. I would say Dale for the nothing that he does for the group. Dale is a fucking F tier. Dale just wants to get at Andrea the whole show, does nothing for the group, other than provides a teeny bit of wisdom. Not enough for me to give him supplies, not enough to have in my group. Dale is a fucking F. Dale is a moron. Dale deservedly dies because of Coral. Thank God for Coral. That's all I gotta say. All right, Dr. Jenner. We're gonna move to Dr. Jenner. Dr. Jenner. Dr. Jenner's goated, okay? Dr. Jenner is one of the reasons why the group gets saved at the end. He kind of provides a nice little rest stop for them, for the group. He does go out like a little bitch, but I think he was kind of just tired of fucking trying to survive. He's not enough to be an alpha though, but he's better enough to be like cool enough to have on the team for his brain and for how he's able to kind of define what's going on with the zombies and the human brain. And he kind of introduces to us the idea that no matter what, even if you're not bit, when you die, you will become a zombie. That is a cool ass concept. I really didn't know that was going to be a Walking Dead concept. Dr. Jenner is a fucking B. Dr. Jenner is sick. I would have him on my squad. I would give him more than beans and bread. Morgan Jones. Morgan Jones is pretty goated. Not as good as Dr. Jenner, but better than Carol. Right? Carol is like going to be the defining standard for the C's, and Dr. Jenner is going to be the defining standard for the B's. Morgan Jones is the first person that saves Rick. Morgan Jones, that's kind of all we know about Morgan Jones in 1 through 4. He does get more badass, by the way. Morgan Jones becomes very fucking cool. Morgan Jones is a B. Because the idea that he's the first person to save Rick, Morgan Jones is a fucking B. Literally, without Morgan Jones, we don't have The Walking Dead. We just have dead. Merle, that brings us to Merle. I think Merle is the cousin or brother of Daryl. Merle's a fuck. Merle in the early on seasons is an asshole. Merle becomes okay-ish. Like he rejoins the group at the prison. His death also goes pretty hard too. I will say it's probably up there with like the top deaths. It's better than Andrea's death. It's not as good as Sophia's. It's better. No, I wouldn't say it's as good as the governor's death either. I would say his death is up there though. I would say because he had a good death and he rejoins the group, that's literally it. And he like risks himself for the group. He is a D, but he's better than these three fucks. He's better than those three dipshits. He's better than Maggie. Maggie, like I said, doesn't really provide anything for the group. But he's not better than Mika. Mika for being a child and for like wanting to be better for the group. Or for Carol and Tyrese. Mika's probably the best D out there. Still wouldn't have her on my squad. Wouldn't really have any child on my squad, to be honest. I wouldn't even have Sophia on my squad. This is just, she's a fucking angel. She's fucking goated. Nobody can touch Sophia. Okay, this brings us to Tomas. Tomas, honestly, is one of the first villains of the show. Tomas is pretty cool. Tomas, we learn about him when they go to the prison. When they first land in the prison, and he's like there with his gang. He's actually pretty cool, and like for him trying to get Rick killed in the moment where he like throws the zombie at Rick is actually pretty fucking awesome for that alone. When it comes to the villains, by the way, I'm not really rating them as if I would want them on my team. I'm sort of rating them as how badass they are in wanting to get after the prison group. Okay, so for that, for him being the first villain, I'm going to put him in C. And I'll probably slot him back here just because he's a villain. Like, I don't really care about his impact. Okay, so this brings us to T-Dog. T-Dog's honestly goated as fuck. I always say T-Dog ran so Tyrese can walk. T-Dog's like one of the first black characters in the show, and he's badass. I think all the black characters are badass, but like T-Dog, I think T-Dog, like I say T-Dog ran so Tyrese can walk because T-Dog is like, he kind of like sets the tone for the gang to be together Like when they're on the roof and they're and because fuck Merle, right? Everybody hates Merle. I hate Merle. But when they're on the group chaining Merle, T Dog is like the biggest supporter for the group being together. Right? That's the thing. Like the sense of togetherness wasn't really there when Rick was like setting in. Um, so I think T Dog for him wanting the group to stay together, has an impact throughout the whole show. I'm gonna put T Dog at B. I think T Dog is up there. I don't think he's as good as Jenner or Morgan, but I think he's up there. I would certainly have T Dog on my squad. This brings us to Tara. Tara is a waste of resources. Tara's honestly a waste of oxygen. Tara is probably Tara for what she is. She's like part of the governor's second round of gang. I include her because she's like why Glenn sort of gets like a second wind of hope in wanting to save her. This is where we really see the humanity in Glenn. Um, for that, Tara is a fucking F. Tara is still useless. Tara maintains that sense of uselessness. By the way, I still haven't seen any side to her where she's not useless. I'm putting Tara in front of all five of these fucking dipshits. Tara is an idiot. Tara deserves to die. She doesn't somehow. She escapes. But Tara's a fuck. Okay. I wouldn't have her on my gang. Wouldn't recommend her to anybody. Would use her as zombie bait. Alright, so we are left with not too many characters, man. I will start off. I will say these are all pretty big impact characters. I'm going to start off with probably Coral. Coral's pretty fucking solid, dude. Coral's, in my opinion, is probably one of the most solid kids in the show. His acting's fucking really good to just like be a little outside of like what the show means. His acting's very good, but as far as like his impact on the team, he's got the willingness to like want better for himself, but he's also like he still has like those child vulnerabilities, but he also like wants to be able to shoot a zombie. He wants to be involved. He is one of the main reasons why Dale gets killed. He lets the zombie kill Dale, which makes him actually have a little bit more aura. I would put Carl at a fucking B. I think Carl is good enough to have on my squad. I would trust Coral. Coral's fucking awesome. Okay. This brings me to I'll hit Tyrese. Okay, Tyrese, from seasons 1 through 4, honestly doesn't really do much for the gang. He kind of helps Carol a little bit towards the end of season 4. But other than that, when we're at the prison, he's wasting time and resources. He's like, him and Sasha have like no aura. They're like trying to figure themselves out between going from the prison to fucking the governor's gang. And I forget the like communal area that the governor ends up being at for a little bit. But for him being the amount of wasted resources he is, and for his very little help to the group, this is why I say he walks because T Dog ran. In my opinion, he wouldn't have been in the prison if it wasn't for T Dog. Like T Dog kind of helped him be more involved in the prison. Because of that, Tyrese is a fucking D. Tyrese is like really garbage. Tyrese is probably more garbage. Honestly, Tyrese is more garbage than these three. But not as bad as Merle. Mika's fucking absolute like garbageness. She's dog water, but she's more dog water. Tyrese is more dog water than Maggie, Abraham, and Mitch, but not as dog water as Merle and Mika. Mika provides nothing for the group, and Merle is a fuck. But these three are okay, I guess. Still wouldn't have any of these fucks on my squad. If you have any of these people on your squad, by the way, like this is where we're sitting at, right? Like if you would have any of these guys on your squad, like you're gonna die in Zombieland. Okay, so these are big characters here. I'm gonna actually start off probably with Michonne. Michonne throughout the entire show proves she's badass. The entire fucking show. Michonne is fucking awesome. her introducing the concept of like having the zombies on chain behind her is fucking badass. Like that helps out big time in understanding how the zombies work. For some reason, that playstyle actually doesn't get carried on through other people in the show, other characters. Um, but I would say Michonne for her loyalty and for how badass she is the whole time. She's pretty awesome. I wouldn't call her an alpha, but I would certainly put her up there. I'm gonna put her in B. I think she's better than these three. I don't think she's actually. You know what? I do think she's better than Jenner. I'm gonna put her up there, top B. She's almost there to fucking A, but she's not an A. I would never lead. I would have her like definitely as a main member, but I wouldn't have her lead. Daryl, on the other hand, Daryl's fucking badass, but Daryl in early on of the show doesn't really know who he is and is definitely a follower. I would not have Daryl as a leader, but I would say he's better than any of these fucks. I think he's better than Carol. Without Carol, he doesn't learn who he is, but I think Daryl is a B, and I think Daryl is up there with some of the best of them. I think he's better than these guys. So for that, I'm going to slot Daryl right in behind Michonne. Okay, so we're left with Herschel, Rick, and the Governor. I'm going to do the Governor first. I think that the Governor is badass. I think as a villain, he's the best villain from 1 through 4, without a doubt. Okay, I think he's the best villain. He's like for not his embodiment, but for his conviction, like for him to be able to take over that communal land, run that, and then this new gang be implemented as like the leader in that gang. Sorry, I'm just gonna get a little bit of air here because it's fucking getting a little bit warm in here. Okay, that was enough of the air. The Governor, for his ability to like transition from one main area to another, a completely different gang, and lead Tara and that stupid fucking group to victory, or not victory, but enough to get Rick's gang out of the prison. And for that murder scene where he cuts Herschel's head off is fucking insane. I am going to put him as a B. I don't think he's the best villain we're going to see, probably, but I do think he's probably one of the most goated villains. I'm going to put him up here, even though I said I really don't care about the villain spots. Where did I just put his fucking head? There it is. Boom. And so that leaves us with Rick and Herschel. I am going to do Herschel. Rick gets to be last because everybody knows who Rick is. And if you know who Rick is, you better know who this man is. Herschel is goated as fuck. Herschel, for his ability to heal Carl, for his ability to provide the fucking barn in the farmland for the people, for his ability to save a lot of the people in the prison. He saves Glenn. He puts his own body on the line. He gets in there, gets sick with the rest of them. He doesn't have enough aura to be an A, but he has enough. He's got more aura than Michonne. Okay, I think that Herschel has the best death scene in the entire show, other than Sophia. Yeah, he's pretty goated. I would definitely have him on my squad. For that, he is a B. And we are left with Ricochet. I say Ricochet because now this is going to be probably a pretty crazy take. Okay? This is the take of the century, I think. Rick is a fuck. Rick is a fuck. Rick is an idiot. From 1 through 4, Rick is an idiot. Okay, it's either, okay, so if you're a Walking Dead fan, right, it's this or the other, right? It's fucking Shane or it's Rick, dude. You can't have both. You can only pick one. If I'm going into the heat of the battle, right, I'm going in with Shane. I am not going in with Rick. Rick is a fuck, okay? Rick, okay, here's the reason. You want to know something crazy? Rick is why Sophia dies. Rick did not need to leave Sophia in the river. He left her in the river. Sophia left out of being afraid. Luckily, we never actually see Sophia get bitten by zombies. But for that alone, Rick is a fuck. Rick is a sack of shit. I am putting Rick up there. He's not in the world of Ed, but he's not cool enough to be in my fucking gang. I am putting Rick at D, and I'm putting him top of the line D. Okay? I don't think he's like the worst character in the Ds, but Rick is not good enough to be on my fucking squad. I would not feed him at all. He wouldn't just be zombie bait, but I wouldn't be feeding him at all. Rick is getting a hard pass. If he wants to be in my gang, I'm telling him to fuck right off. Okay, that is it. We are here. 1 through 4 tier list is done. Let me get this zoomed in for you. Let me see if I can go 60%. Boom, that's it. I only have 2 A's, man. Sophia and Shane. Sophia's goated. Sophia's the angel of the show. Shane is an A because he makes nothing but good decisions for the group. He helps out. He's not afraid to shoot when he needs to shoot. He's got a good death scene. He does die to Rick. Deservedly dies to Rick, you know, for him banging Lori and fucking being an asshole and telling Lori like that he's, you know, better than Rick and that he can protect the group better than Rick. But I'm still riding into the fucking dungeon with Shane because you don't be in a relationship in Zombieland. You don't. There should be no banging. 0 banging. Herschel, Michonne, Daryl, Governor, Jenner, Morgan, T-Dog, and Carl. After other consideration, T-Dog's a C. T-Dog's not on the same level as these guys. I don't know what I was thinking. T-Dog really doesn't do anything like outstanding, but he does help the group kind of stay together, and he does want to be involved, but he's a fucking C. He's cool enough to have on your team. These guys are all cool enough to have on my team, except for Tomas. I wouldn't have on my team. He's just a good villain. Caleb's actually a huge resource. Mika isn't the worst of the 2 sisters. Lizzie for killing Mika is fucking insane. When they showed that, I was fucking shitting my pants. I'm not gonna lie, that was an insane episode, and it felt like that episode was so boring too. I remember like everybody's just like walking around doing their own thing, and then all of a sudden it cuts to like Lizzie stabbing Mika and then wanting to kill the daughter. Still don't remember her name. These are all D tiers still though. Wouldn't have them on my squad. They're still dumb. And then the Fs. Ed is the worst character in the show by far. Ed is an asshole. Ed is, if you have an Ed in your life, like I said, you want to get rid of them. They're terrible. Like if you're beating women, like that's just not a vibe. That's a terrible vibe. Shouldn't have it. Dale's an ass. Tara's useless. Lizzie, we've already spoken about. She's a fucking dumb bitch. Bob's a waste of resources, a waste of breath. These are all just zombie bait, right? Like Andrea's such an idiot. Andrea's like, she's in the show for like way too long. She's a fucking idiot. She almost kills fucking Daryl, for fuck's sakes. And Lori's like one of the, not the dumbest female in the show, but she's up there, man. She's a fuck. Lori's a fuck. She deservedly dies. She dies because she was banging. That's literally why she dies. So, that's that, guys. That brings me to a conclusion. Don't forget to check out who is sponsoring this video. Don't forget to check out who's sponsoring this video in Hoot and Holler Apparel. Hoot and Holler Apparel, great clothing brand. Okay. You know, I would recommend a lot of the things they have. All right. They've got the fucking Make Hot Dogs Great Again hat. That's fucking awesome. Okay. If it loads, like, that shit's insane, bro. Look at that shit. That shit's just dope as fuck, bro. Make hot dogs great again. That shit's just funny, bro. Make hot dogs great again. I think that's what this shirt says, bro. Look at that. That's fucking peak, bro. Hoot and holler, bro. We've got the fucking Move Sleepy, dude. Even though he's not in office and he's kind of irrelevant. Move fucking Sleepy. Sleepy Joe. Okay, he's taking off. Look, hoot and holler, baby. That logo's dope. Right? If you're a chick, right? It's primarily for the chicks. Look at this. Double trouble, bro. Double trouble. It's fucking cows having a little drink. Alright? Fuck. Hoot and holler. Go check them out. Thanks for watching. See you next time, buddy.